The Parappa the Rapper universe, which includes Jam Alami, has a unique blend of rhythm action skill prowess alongside being chaotic and absurd with its humour, and very few games seem to scratch that itch. But I think I found one in Boyce the Voice. This is an indie rhythm game where you control Boyce, who becomes a voiceover artist for radio and TV. And at the beginning of the game, you're asked, because you've got the voice of anybody, according to the director, to start voicing over like radio jingles, like the beat goes on blah de blah radio. And then you're asked to like quickly spam through with button mashes like terms and conditions of certain objects that you're selling on a TV ad. And it's stupid and it's absurd, but the plot then goes way beyond that into craziness. And the plot is told through FMV cartoon cutscenes that remind me a little bit of early 2000 webcomics in the best possible way. This all combines to make Boyce the Voice one of the most fun, silly, irrelevant and absurd experiences that I've come across in gaming for quite some time, especially in the rhythm action world. And it is akin and in the same world and universe of silliness and rhythm action fun as the Parappa the Rapper series. And so if you enjoy that, you'll enjoy Boyce the Voice, and vice versa obviously too. The rhythm action elements in Boyce the Voice are slightly different to those games that I've mentioned though. You will need to press buttons to the beat of the voice acting that you're doing across these different levels. And there'll be a mixture of face buttons or symbol buttons, because you can choose which controller symbols you want to pop up in the game in the main menu, which is cool. And direction buttons, and you can use the D-pad or the analog stick for those. But they'll come in two lanes, a top lane and a bottom lane, and you'll need to hit a bumper button to switch between those lanes. And that's introduced quite early on in the game, but the difficulty as you go through each level is that you'll be constantly needing to switch lanes all the time. And the theming of this game is all about finding your own voice and believing in yourself. And so late game you'll start to get sections where the button presses will fade before they hit you, so you need to kind of remember what's coming alongside pressing them in time with the beat. If you think that's quite difficult though, Boyce the Voice has a really open way to deal with difficulties, and it provides 5 of them. Story mode lets you just totally bash whatever you want in and you experience the whole game end to end. Easy gives you loads of extra lives and shields with replenishing health whenever you get a certain amount of buttons correct. Medium is kind of in the middle of that. Hard only gives you 5 chances to miss a beat and then you'll die. And Nightmare mode is a single button hit death, basically, and you'll need to restart the whole song again. What's interesting with that is whilst the difficulties and the way what gets like marked as successful is different, the chart stays the same across all difficulties. So don't expect dynamic difficulty across this game. And that's one of only 2 very minor criticisms that I have of Boyce the Voice. The second one being that it's just 6 stages, and this is the same length as the original Parappa, because that had 6 stages with cutscenes in between that were quite lengthy. Boyce the Voice is identical in its structure. So if you weren't upset with the length of the original Parappa game, then you shouldn't be too upset with the Boyce one. But I think maybe some people might be like, oh, there's not 25 million stages. No, it's a very succinct experience, but it leaves a much better lasting impression by going in and out without anything ever feeling dull or overdone or repetitive, because it doesn't do the same thing twice level to level. I had great fun with Boyce the Voice. It comes highly recommended if you particularly like the Parappa world and franchise and that kind of style of silly humour, alongside being a actually quite tricky rhythm action game at times. This is going to be one of those sleeper hit games that will never do big numbers in terms of sales, but I think people in the know will do a wink and a nudge and go, stick that one in your collection, it's a good one. So that's what I'm doing to you. Boyce the Voice, don't sleep on it. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.